I cannot believe where I'm at right now. I mean, it's nothing famous or nothing. I'm in a township or a section of Douglas, Arizona called Pertiville. Pertiville, I think. Anyway, and I just I had to send an Amazon delivery back, and I got my dog with me, and I'm going to a friend's house, so we're going to go visit. Anyway, before we get, it's like a half hour or 45 minutes to an hour, and so I want to give my dog a little walk, so I don't have to deal with stopping on the way, right, if she gets antsy. So we start walking. I see a patch of grass, very nice. Let me turn it around for you. Very nice little patch of grass, and that's what attracted me over here. And that pink building over there, you're gonna see a car go by here in a second, and a truck. All right, I'm on the other side of that road, just on the other side of that Pizza Hut right there. Anyway, what caught my attention, come here, was this Sacred Heart building over here that I was looking at when I first started filming, turning it on again. And my bus stopped, well, right where that car is. My school bus. And the reason was because, it was a regular bus stop, and the kid got off. The kid that was sitting next to me, the school, when I went to school in Douglas, I don't think that the schools were segregated. You know, I'm only going off of what my perception was at the time, and I was a young kid, and I didn't really understand all this stuff. But there were schools that were clearly Hispanic. I mean, there was like no whites there. And then there were schools that were predominantly white, but there were also some Hispanics. I don't remember. Yeah, I had Hispanics in class. I had the biggest crush on them. Mexican women are the most beautiful things on the fucking planet, man. I'm sorry. American women are beautiful too, man. But I just got a taste for that brown skin and culture. Culture's different, and I appreciate the culture. Anyway, back to the schools. So there wasn't a lot of animosity. There weren't any race fights, none of that crap that I remember anyway, that I was aware of anyway. But there was a little tension on the school bus. And so anyway, one day we're coming home, school's out, everybody's tired, wants to go home, right? I'm sure kids are more apt to get pissed off at that point in time of day. So anyway, I'm sitting there, I had a seat to myself. These kids came on. We were stopped at the last school before we went and started doing drop-offs. And it was a all Mexican school. I can't remember the name of it right now. Anyway, this kid had nowhere to sit. And I said, hey dude, you want to sit here? I just offered it to him, you know? And he said, yeah. He said, thank you. And he sat down. And the kid was smaller than me. He was like maybe not half a foot, a couple inches smaller than me, clearly smaller, way less. I was bigger than him. I was not a bully. I did not pick on people. I was nice. I offered seats. So anyway, as we get moving, this kid starts insulting me. And he's like, hey you white motherfucker, I'm gonna kick the living shit out of you. And saying stuff like out of the blue. I'm like not even talking to the kid. I'm thinking about my homework or something. And I'm like, what? And so he's talking shit, man. And so the bus stops right there by the Sacred Heart. And he stood up real fast. So I stood up and fucking hit him. And I hit him so hard that when they x-rayed him, it fractured the back of his skull when he hit the metal bar going across the middle of the window in a school bus. You see they're like aluminum, I think now. Anyway, and shattered his fucking nose and split and another skull fracture between his eyes. I mean, it was a fucking hell of a poke. And I fucking must have broke 2 or 3 fingers, man. My hand was killing me. How you doing, man? But and then the bus driver closed the door, wasn't letting anybody off, and then about a minute or less, there was a guy standing outside that the door, demanding on. Fucker was at least 6'5", you know. I thought he was a monster. He was an adult. That's what he was. And he came and he got a look at what happened and went after me, man. He dragged me off that bus. He held me up against that bus. I thought he was going to kill me. And fortunately, God, the bus driver jumped off. As he's picking me up and sticking me up against the bus driver jumps out and pushes him down, like knocks him over, like just runs him, tackles him kind of. And I fall to the ground, and I'm scared fucking shitless, man. So I get back on the bus and close the door. I'm not letting anybody on this fucking bus, and except the bus driver, right? And the bus driver got on and closed the door, and we start moving. And I said, "Where are you going?" He said, "Where do you want to go?" I said, "I need to go to my dad's house, or I need to go to my dad's office," which was on the plant, the smelter at Douglas, which no longer exists. So we drove to my school bus, right up to my dad's office. He's like, "What the fuck is going on?" And I told him what happened, and he was like, "Okay." And then after that night, I found out all about the skull getting cracked and all that. And I got kicked off the bus, so I had to ride. I don't know. It was like 5 miles each way, I think, maybe. It wasn't very far. And super flat. No hills, I don't think. I think in Douglas, if there's a hill, it ain't more than a foot high relative to the valley to the next hill. Anyway, I thought that was a fun memory. I didn't learn how to fight that day. I already knew how to throw a punch. My dad had taught me how to do that. Not taught me, but told me to do it. And so I did it. I practiced it as often as I could without, getting myself killed. I don't think that says too much about my character, negatively. But anyway, I didn't know how to fight yet. I didn't know. That was in, what school was it? That was in middle school. You know what? I was a 6th grader, and he might have been elementary still. He might have been a 5th grader. I think he was a 5th grader. Now that I had never thought about that before. So he was a whole grade different than me, I'm sure. And that makes up for the size difference and all that. We were growing. Growing up in this country can be tough, man. The reason I'm missing my teeth, by the way, also came from an incident. Not in this neighborhood, but at a school nearby. When a guy named Jimmy Haxton threw a rock right at me and hit me right in the fucking mouth. And knocked out my one of my front permanent teeth and damaged the other one so bad they had to remove it. So I lost my 2 front teeth, and then they built a bridge, so I lost another one. They, numbed it down to nothing. So, and those were white guys. Jimmy Haxton and his buddy was Jimmy. Fuck, I can't remember his last name. If I saw him, I'd know him. I think that was Haxton. So Jimmy Haxton was the bigger guy and kind of the ringleader, but the other guy, the other little Jimmy, he was kind of a little punk, but one of those punks that, is always trying to prove himself, like how much of a badass he is. One of those punks. So those are the funnest punks. I like those punks. They go down so easy. It's like cutting butter with a razor blade. All right, y'all. I love you. I'm sorry for rambling. I don't know if I'll post this or not, but if I just feel like boring the shit out of somebody, I might. Love y'all. Keep looking down.